BombBomb Nation, it is Michael Thorne. Happy New Year to everyone. It's been far too long since we've hung out, and that's where I want to start today's live video, is just a quick apology, although it's not really an apology, it's an explanation. I took about 6 months off Facebook and jumped back on January 3rd for my first time in 6 months. It wasn't a planned vacation from Facebook. It just 1 week turned into 2 and turned into 2 months. And then I thought I'd give it a shot, see if I could get to the new year without spending time on Facebook. So RE Video Studio, there's a lot of great comments and a lot of good content in there. I'm trying to get back in there and interact, but that was my absence from that. So I got a very special guest in the green room that's going to be joining us today. But I have this New Year's resolution that my special guest helped me sort of come up with or construct. And I want to make it a public resolution so that you guys can hold me accountable. Also, I hope that it inspires other people. I did a crazy year-long project a number of years ago called North Langley 365. And that was one photo a day for an entire year, sort of highlighting what's it like to live in my hometown. And it was a grueling task, not only to come up with a great shot, but to write up something about it, to get it posted. And one of the reasons why I was able to stick to it is that public declaration that I was going to do it, and I don't want to let people down. Same thing when you guys mention when you make a public declaration to do 30 and 30. That's one of the things that will get you through the task to make them public. Michael Kearns, you're right. I do not have a custom t-shirt on. I got a bunch of them for the holidays, and I will roll them out. But as some of you know, Studio A is in my garage, and it is cold. So I feel like I'm David Letterman's studio. So my resolution is to 5 times my video output that I have been doing in previous years. And to do that would require me to create 1,250 unique videos in the calendar year of 2022. And this isn't a new mindset for me. This is something I've said many times to a lot of you for the last 5+ years. We have a number of videos that have more than 50,000 views, but the most valuable videos we create day in and day out are viewed by less than 5 people. That's where the biggest ROI is, that's where the biggest opportunity is, and that's where my focus is going to be on the 2022 video creation, is in more one-to-one video content, even though we will be creating other videos too as well. One of my broker owners, Bjorn, who's absolutely amazing at Remax Lifestyles, put on a business planning workshop in the fall of last year. And one of my big takeaways from that was when he's crunched numbers from a bunch of great agents over the years, every conversation that you have with someone about real estate is worth $375 to your business. Now, those are people you don't already know. These are people at the grocery store. This is door knocking. This is someone you bump into at a friend's party that you might not know. Those conversations about real estate are worth $375. And knowing that I was going to do this, create 5 times as much video in 2022, I asked him, then what do you feel the value of a conversation about real estate with someone you already have a relationship with? Someone in your sphere of influence, a past client, and he pinpointed that in around the $1,000 a conversation. Now that conversation might last 2 or 3 days or over a week or whatnot, but every engagement that you have with someone that already likes and trusts you is worth about $1,000 to your business per conversation. So that's really where the opportunity is here and what I want to focus on in 2022. So I reached out to my special friend that's just about to join us here, and I beginning of December, and I said, here's what I want to do. Like, what is an attainable number? What would be, not crazy, but could be done? And he crunched some numbers and looked at my past video creation and said, Michael, if you 5 times your videos, if you create 5 videos a day, 5 days a week, all year long, you take 2 weeks off, you'll create 1,250 videos. And more shockingly than that, that would be, if I do that this year, create 1,250 videos throughout the year, I will have increased my lifetime video creation just in 1 year by 60%. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in today's special guest. I think a lot of you might know who it is, but I've been kept it kind of hush-hush. He is the host of the Customer Experience Podcast. He is co-author of Human-Centered Communication, which is a Wall Street Journal bestseller. And he's also the author of Rehumanize Your Business, co-author, I should say. He is the chief evangelist at BombBomb. He is my friend. He is Ethan Beute. Ethan Beute, how are you, my friend?
Fantastic. Great to be here. Great to see all the people in the comments. I've missed you. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad that you reached out about this. It was fun to put those numbers together, and I'm awesome. It's great to see you.
And you were just out in Seattle. You're doing some events, but you were just out in Seattle doing an event, and I think it got back last night. And I'm sure Seattle was just the way people think it is, nice and rainy at this time of the year for you.
I had about a half day to kind of do whatever I needed or wanted to do, and it was a beautifully sunny afternoon on Sunday. And then it rained.
One of the interesting things, to create this video content, Ethan, for me and our team's business, to do that is one thing. But you were like, the silver lining is the people that might be inspired by following me for the journey. And I'm going to come with you guys every month and give you an update and let you know how we're doing it. But that's one of the problems with one-to-one video creation, Ethan, I find, is that because it's one-to-one, people can't look in. People can't be inspired by it. People can't emulate one-to-one communication. If you want to look at Jesse Peters' amazing listing videos and go, okay, I can take away something from that, or follow someone else in their, Instagram reels, you go, that's a good idea. But people don't get to see how the one-to-one video is created and the opportunities and the types of videos that are created. And I really think if people were to see how simple it is and how free-formed it is and how unproduced the good one-to-one video is, they might be more likely to do that. And I'm hoping that's a small part of inspiring people this year.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but I took a stroll down memory lane between the time you reached out and today. And I found a webinar that you and I did together in May of 2014. So that's almost 8 years ago. It's like 7 2/3 or 7 3/4 years old. And I'm going to drop in the chat on this a link to a little montage of your one-to-one videos that you had already done. And you had, I don't remember how many there were at the time. So for folks that were curious off the top about the numbers, Michael's got 2,100 and change videos in his BombBomb account. He's been a customer for 8.2 years. And so that's where and that's one video a day, over 8.2 years on 261 days, which is how many weekdays there are in a year. That's an average of one video per day, which is pretty badass for like an 8-year run. That's a really good average. But you and I both know, because I have 12,000 videos over a 10 years time. They typically come in like runs, like even myself as a team member here who uses it all the time for a variety of reasons. There are days where I'll send 30 and there are days where I'll send 0. And so the one thing I really loved about your approach, Michael, is just, even if it doesn't turn out to be 5 a day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks of the year, I really like the idea of 2 and then 7 and then 1 and then 6 and then 0 and then 2 and then 5 and then 5 and then 5. I think it creates a really nice, steady presence.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things, now looking into it and looking at my video creation that I've done over the past 8 years, and I was sort of thinking about the numbers. Most of my videos that I create are reactive videos. They're videos in response to something else happening, and I want to say thank you for that, or I want to follow up. I certainly go out and make intentional videos. This past year, unsolicited CMA videos have been an absolute home run and will be a big part of 2022. But I want to, and that's what next month we're going to be talking about, is how I'm scheduling into my workflows intentional creation of video to start that conversation versus just reacting to that conversation. A lot of my videos, Ethan, are I get a reach out and I want to put a face to the name, and that's a reactive video content. And I'm not really in control of that as much versus the creation of the video content, reaching out to the client's birthdays. I just had a client of mine have his 10-year anniversary, in his home, and I recorded something for him the other day. And those are those intentional ones that we can schedule in throughout the year to really boost the numbers up to where I want them to be. And then the reactive video can sort of be the cherry on top.
Yeah, and there are a number. I mean, just for folks that are listening that are wondering, like, what are my proactive videos? First of all, you just gave two fantastic use cases that are both a little bit different, but are both fantastic conversation starters. One, of course, is birthdays. Facebook gives them to you. LinkedIn gives them to you. It's just a timely and relevant reason to reach out. And you're not necessarily going to do it for everybody, but for those people where you have something personal to add, video is an absolutely great touch for that. But there are the unsolicited or proactive CMAs, absolutely fantastic. One, it's just a great habit in general. I mean, you're a local expert and it gives you a chance to flex those muscles, stay sharp, because you are working to kind of put together something that is going to be helpful for the other person. But in terms of generating business proactively, I don't know that I've seen a better use case in real estate than unsolicited or proactive CMAs.
Yeah, a couple of people have just already asked about that. In one of the months in March, we're going to break down unsolicited CMAs and go through it, something I've talked about in the past. But basically, in a nutshell, what we do is we pick a client in our database. We have a 10-year nurture, and that's next month. We're going to be talking about how we schedule a lot of these touch points, birthdays, anniversaries, unsolicited CMAs, follow-ups, just checking ins, into our calendar, into our workflows. And what we do is, we want to get an unsolicited CMA out to every one of our clients every 6 months. That's the ideal. And so we pick Tyler and Katrina McClendon, dear friends of mine who've just bought a house. That's the unsolicited CMA that particular day. I jump on, I use Cloud CMA, do a quick evaluation on their property, real quick, pull some numbers, jump onto BombBomb using their screen recorder feature, which records my screen as well as myself, and kind of does a picture-in-picture like this, but instead of Ethan, it would be the CMA. And I can quickly say, hey, Tyler, Katrina, it's Michael. The market continues to change here in your neighborhood, and I just wanted to keep you up to date with what's happening right now. Really quickly, maybe a minute or so. Bjorn, my amazing business mentor and one of our broker owners at our office, says always keep it shorter, and send that out. And the real magic of that is Ethan not necessarily sending it out that particular time, but getting that ping from BombBomb 4 weeks later or a month later saying that CMA was revisited, and no one's going back into their email and revisiting a CMA just sort of on a whim. It's an intentional action that allows you to sort of follow up. And I think, I hope to be getting out one a day or 3 a week, and adding, those add up. I would love to have 200 of my 1250 be unsolicited CMAs. It would be a huge big win for the team, because the amount of business last year that was generated from those is staggering, and it's super easy to do.
What is the shape of that usually? Does someone reply back and say, oh my gosh, this is so helpful, and they have follow-up? I just want to walk this out for people that are trying to figure out how this comes together. My guess would be, because I don't send unsolicited CMAs myself as a chief evangelist at a software company. And so does it typically wind up with someone replying back? They have a deeper question. You wind up on the phone or on a Zoom call or something, and it just kind of runs from there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if there's already, the pot's already kind of brewing, that's what will happen. These are there are so many opportunities to touch base with our clients that don't touch base leveraging the profession and the knowledge that we have in real estate. You know what I mean? Like, there's Popeyes and you can drop off a recipe or whatnot, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, you're the expert in what you do, and you're just reminding them, you're just doing a pop by in their inbox saying, I'm still looking out for you. Here's what's happening. And so I love the fact that it creates this little trigger that's out there, but it's also right in the wheelhouse about what you do day in and day out. And if you are an agent that sort of specializes in one area, I mean, that CMA that you did that day might be relevant to 4 or 5 of your clients, and you only have to create that CMA the one time. And it's very easy. Here's just what's happening over the last 4 or 5 months, and it's just constantly feeding their curiosity of what's happening, especially anyone in the real estate industry over the past 18 months. It's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up where things are and where the opportunities are. And so I love that. But I also love the fact that then they have the ability to revisit that CMA when they're thinking about it, which you get triggered on that, Ethan, and then you can follow up and say, hey, by the way, Ethan, I sent you that CMA 3 months ago. The market continues to change. How about if I fire you off another one? And then Ethan says, funny enough, Michael, my wife and I were just thinking about you. And that's really where things are. Ethan, one of the questions I wanted to ask you, and like I said, in March, we'll go deeper into unsolicited CMA. We'll bring on some experts and we'll go through it in detail. I'll give you my blueprint on how we do it. And by then, we'll have some more case studies too for you. What generally, Ethan, are the 2 or 3 characteristics of a power BombBomb user? What are the characteristics? And it doesn't have to be BombBomb because, there's other things you can be doing. But what have you found when you look at someone who has 8,000, 10,000 videos out there? What are the 2 or 3 characteristics those people are doing versus the people that know they should be sending the video that are sending one a month?
Yeah, a couple things come to mind immediately. 2 of them almost go without saying, but I'll say them out loud anyway, and then maybe we can go back and forth on a little bit more of an interesting or nuanced aspect of it. But one, of course, is that they're focused on long-term relationships as fundamental to the health of their business, period. And so that's why some of our top senders are in real estate, they're in mortgage, they're in financial advisory, they're in insurance. And it's because that is the lifeblood of your business. It's staying in contact in a meaningful and personal way. That's why I really appreciated kind of what you added specific to the CMA is that it is that, but it's in service of somebody else based in your own expertise. So that's one, and that kind of is obvious and goes without saying. Another kind of obvious goes without saying, but I'll say it out loud anyway, is consistency. It's just this, and it's one of the reasons I love your goal for the year is that it's about this. I'm going to build this muscle and stay consistent with it. Now I'm going to get a little bit more nuanced, which is that consistency is typically based in I do 1 or 2 things with my BombBomb account. And every time that opportunity happens, I actually do it. Right. And so, you talked a little bit, Michael, about the reactive one-to-ones. Even that, it fits into this consistency category that I'm talking about. It's anytime someone gets referred to me, I send a video thanking the person who made the referral, and I send a video introducing myself to the person who is referred to me. If that is an important trigger for you, and that's the only thing you do with BombBomb, A, of course, you'll get your money's worth on the year, but B, you'll be developing that consistency muscle. And then where the power user really comes on is when you stack 2 or 3 or 4 very consistent use cases and you just do it over and over and over again every time that opportunity comes up. Sure, you might come up with that excuse of, yeah, but I just got done working out and I'm in my sweats. Well, some people work through that anyway, but that might be a reason not to do it this one time. The key, though, is to not let 2 or 3 opportunities that fit this kind of trigger mechanism. Again, I'm speaking to the reactive thing that you offered before. Yeah. This thing happens, so then I send a video. You don't want 2 or 3 of those to go by without making a commitment to do it in video, because that then teaches you subconsciously that that's not something I do. That is not a habit of mine. That is not who I am. That's not what I do. Whereas the power user will be very dedicated to honoring that trigger, doing it consistently, and then stacking 2 or 3 more on there. Another one might be, when I look at Facebook, I see whose birthdays are today, and I'm going to commit to myself to pick the one person that I'm closest to, or the 2 people that I feel really compelled or drawn to when I see their names on the list because I was thinking about them or I haven't reached out in a while. Whatever the case may be, you just make the commitment to do that 1 day or 3 days or 5 days a week. And so that's where the power user comes in. You might also, here's just another kind of pro tip for people that are thinking like, oh my gosh, I can't commit to unsolicited CMAs. By March, when Michael, you give this presentation, I'm sure that will turn a lot of people 180 degrees on that response. But I would say if you're sending out something in mass, right, a mass market update or something like that to most or all of the people in your database, make a commitment then to go into your analytics, whether that's coming out of BombBomb or your CRM or some other system. Who is actually opening these? Who's clicking links? Who's watching videos in the case that there's a video in there? And send one-to-one videos to them. And so there are just a number of different ways to do this. But the power user is someone who has 2 to 5 really good use cases that they found valuable. And by focusing on 1 or 2 to start, you're going to get really comfortable saying whatever you need to say. A lot of people struggle because they feel awkward saying it. If you focus on 1 or 2 use cases, you'll get really comfortable because they're going to be 50 to 70% the same. You're just changing some names, changing some details, changing some context in there. And then you stay consistent to those 1 or 2, and then you stack 1 or 2 more on top of that. And then all of a sudden, you're doing what looks kind of crazy, which is 1,000 videos a year or something.
And that's a very interesting thing too, Ethan, is it's not, I don't lack the confidence to do it or the time to do it because I think it's much quicker to communicate in a BombBomb than it is to write the text. What I'm doing now is I'm looking for where can I be sending the videos, like, and that's the neat thing about challenging yourself. You're like, whose birthday is it? What client haven't I reached out to? Because if I've got this commitment for 1,250, it's not the time because I can send 5 videos in 18 minutes. Like that is not the problem. Like that's not the problem. It's who can I reach out to and why am I reaching out to them? So we've defined some of the characteristics of a power user. What do you find are those most common subject lines for those opportunities that people should be looking at? We've already touched on birthdays. If you go through my BombBomb account, I think the most common 2 words that are stuck together are thank you. That's very, very common. Anytime I can show gratitude to somebody who's done something nice to me, I will send them a video or miss you, those sort of things. What are those common subject lines do you find when you're looking at the mass user group that is your BombBomb customer?
Sure. You already kind of hit it. Although not at the end, but in the beginning. And it's, who are these people and why am I reaching out to them? And I think if you're clear on that and you design a system to be clear on who you're reaching out to and why you're reaching out to them, you're in a much better position to record a more concise video and a more specific video and a more meaningful video. You're also set up for a better subject line because you know why you're reaching out and what's in it for the other person. There are obviously various strategies you can take. I generally am more direct than I am kind of clever, but you can have some fun with it. And again, this is another benefit of coming up with 1 or 2 or 3 key use cases, whether it's proactive or reactive, because you can kind of mess with those subject lines a little bit. I think if you are appreciative for somebody in particular. So for people watching, Michael has already given you a number of use cases. I'll just share something that I do personally related to one-to-one videos. I keep this notebook at hand on my desk. I do a lot of work by hand, just in terms of like keeping little notes and stuff. And anytime someone comes to mind or I see something on social beyond the like, beyond the comment, or as a leader here at BombBomb, I'm in stand-ups with a variety of leaders from other teams and departments. When I hear a team member's name, let's say a frontline team member that's done something really awesome or was working on something for a long time and it finally came through, or maybe it didn't, or maybe it's a personal thing that someone is struggling with, I'll write that down. And just periodically, like you said, Michael, 5 videos in 18 or 20 minutes. When I find 10 or 15 minutes, I'll just send one-to-one videos to those people. And so the subject line is going to be a follow-on to whatever the motivation is, like congratulations, or I was sorry to hear, or I was excited to hear, or congratulations on X, or thank you for Y. I almost always include the person's name. It's not magic, but it often helps. And the one pro tip that I'll give, because you asked about subject lines, always include one line of text in front of the video and one line of text below the video. There are a couple of reasons why. The number one reason on including a line above the video is that, one, it reaffirms that that video is just for them and it's not, this kind of canned thing where you're just slugging someone's name in the subject line. So you can use it to reinforce why you recorded the video and what's exciting about it, but it also displays differently and better in a lot of email clients, because if it's just the video, we're obviously sending a little GIF image. Oftentimes, email clients don't know what to do with that. So if you have a line of text where you greet them by name and promise them something fun or interesting, or you reinforce the thank you, good job, congratulations, I was thinking about you, I was sorry to hear, I was excited to hear, whatever, then it'll display better, and it gives them, again, a reinforcement that you're actually sending something that is unique to them.
Agreed. I think one of the biggest features that BombBomb has released in the last 3 years is the keyboard. And maybe people don't know what this is, but previously, to send a BombBomb required you to stay in that inbox. Really, whether you're dealing with mobile or you're dealing with desktop, it really forced you to communicate in that inbox. You get a text message, you get a Facebook Messenger, and you want to respond with a BombBomb, then you move that communication over to another avenue that person didn't want to have that conversation with, just so you can send a BombBomb. And now with the keyboard on your mobile device, and with the plugin in Chrome, you can basically pop in a video anywhere the communication is already happening, just by changing your keyboard to BombBomb. Instead of typing the letter A, you press insert video and it pops it into text message, Facebook Messenger, LinkedIn Messenger, anywhere they're communicating. And I think that's really, really important. When we sit down with our buyers and we sit down with our sellers, we say, look, when it's really important, we're going to be across the kitchen table from you. When it's fairly important, we're going to pick up the phone. And when it's just keeping you updated, how do you want us to communicate with you? And they'll say to us, email, text message, messenger, and then we communicate in that way. And so that might be a little bit reactive, but I know the videos that I've already sent, I've got, I think, 75 videos under my belt already in 2021 or something like that, or 2022. I know that they all didn't go out via email. Some of them popped into some people's messengers, some people in someone's text message, depending on where I find I communicate with them. What's the value of that, keeping that communication in the mode that your consumer wants to talk on?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that we should be shooting for all the time. And there are, in the software space, there are a number of tools and apps and products for people to organize that, so that they can reach people in the channels that they're already communicating in. And it's, in fact, I just interviewed a guy. The episode hasn't released yet on the Customer Experience podcast. But this guy works for a software company called Glia, and that's their whole MO. It's basically, you should never, if you are on someone's website or in someone's mobile app, you should never have to leave that website or leave that mobile app to talk to somebody. It should just be a click to connect, where it takes over your, laptop microphone or your mobile microphone. So anyway, that's just my long way around. Yes, we should honor people in the channels that they're in. For folks who missed the nuance of what Michael was offering there, in the mobile apps for iPhone and for Android, there's a keyboard that you can activate so that, when you're switching between the keyboards from like the emojis and other things, like I have, I think Bitmoji is the one. So like there are a bunch of different keyboards you can have on your phone. And so one of them can be BombBomb, so you can record or pull a video out of your library from there. I don't use the mobile app that often because I'm primarily working here at a desk. And so that Chrome extension is kind of the laptop desktop version of that. So yes, the Chrome extension activates a tool set directly in the Gmail inbox, which that's where I've sent the vast majority of my one-to-one videos, or 1 to 2 or 1 to 5. But it also sits up in the tray in the top of Chrome. You can record a video, you can screen record a video, or you can pull an existing video out of your library. Think, for example, a frequently asked question video where you answer a question that you tend to hear 1 or 2 or 3 times a week. So you just have a video recorded for it. So it's not custom for that person. And you just grab that out of your library. And then you can take the link or you can take the HTML for that video that then allows you to put it anywhere you want. So for me, I'm not a real estate agent, so I work a little bit differently, but I'm sure you can all relate at a basic level. I'll record in Chrome and take that link and drop it into a LinkedIn message like Backchannel LinkedIn Messenger or Facebook Messenger or Slack. I drop them into Slack all the time, and they populate the thumbnail and the title, and it's a BombBomb video, but in Slack.
It is an amazing feature that I think we should be utilizing. And once again, that's a really great way of being reactive. Just because you happen to be in Messenger, you can still react with a BombBomb video. You can still respond in that manner, and those are the opportunities that exist there. I just wanted to mention one more thing about doing one-to-one video very consistently, like I have for the last 8 years. Not at the level that I plan to doing, but doing consistently. I've got a 26-year real estate career, and nothing has improved my listing presentations, my negotiation skills, my relationship building with the customer in person more than BombBomb videos. I think your ability to communicate and think and articulate what you want to say just becomes super, super natural very, very quickly. And I think my ability to just press the record button and say what I want to say and say it with empathy and feeling and emotion has also made me a much better communicator in every facet of my business. And I don't know if that's something you guys have looked at or has been mentioned before, but I'm a far better communicator because of one-to-one video, doing it all the time.
That is wonderful. It's absolutely true. The way I've kind of basically described it, I've not quantified this effect or seen or looked up any research or conducted any research on this. But the one thing I've often said that you just observed as your own experience, and I've had the same experience myself, is that the skills are highly transferable. The benefit of having a one-to-one habit is that it opens up other opportunities. You'll start to see other opportunities to use videos, in addition to the benefit that each one of those videos actually provides. But you're also building this muscle. You're getting comfortable. And kind of what you said there, Michael, is that you're practicing this ability to bring to life with your whole self important and valuable messages that might otherwise be conveyed on the phone or on a video call or in person. And so it's like any other thing we want to get good at. The more reps, the more practice, the more repetition, the more we're building that muscle, the more confident that we are in it, the easier and faster it is, the more natural it becomes, etc. So doing these video messages, the skills are highly transferable. And another thing that I think you'll agree with, Michael, and I think you and I have probably talked about it at some point in the past, is there's also a very distinct and powerful benefit to you personally breathing these, and I know this is going to sound a little woo-woo to some people, but breathing these messages into real life.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean, if we're going to go to our keyboard and send a message of thank you or good job or congratulations or a message of concern or support, we're getting conscious, we're getting intellectual, and we're trying to capture our feelings and our thoughts and peck them into a keyboard, which is an intellectual exercise. Whereas there's something really valuable, and there is a lot of research around the expression of gratitude, the verbal and emotional expression of gratitude in real life, which is not captured in pecking out a thank you email, but is when you say thank you in person, on a video call, over the phone, or in a video message. There's something very distinct and powerful and meaningful and satisfying about being able to breathe these messages into real life. Not as good looking into a camera as it is looking into someone's real face, but there's a softer side to this that is really wonderful for us as human beings.
And more, and
video captures that
yeah,
and gives it to somebody else in a way that they can feel. That's what's really powerful about it.
And two as well, look, I'm not a real estate agent, is what you've said a couple of times. but real estate agents communicate with their clients. Usually what they're saying is something that's good or something that's bad. There's not a whole lot of mundane communication with your client day in, day out. Things went well tonight in offer presentation, things went poor tonight in offer presentation. And I think being able to add the human to that communication is what makes your clients go, they're in this with us. They're invested in us and what we're trying to achieve. And I think that can't be overlooked. Ethan, I'm super excited for this project. We're going to bring you on probably near the end and see where it is. But I want all of you to come along with me. I'm going to show, and I said to Ethan the other day, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my camera behind me. And I typically send video in 3 different locations: at my desk, which is in the house where it's warm. A lot of you have seen that sort of location. I don't send a whole lot of one-to-one video out here if I happen to be doing a live stream, and there's a couple videos I can put out, but I think there's also some insincerity that comes along with a highly polished location. And I know that's weird to say, but I think I find my messages better received the more ordinary the background is, or the more real the background is. And then obviously on the go, I send a lot here. But one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my camera near my desk and record me sending, what's it like for me to send 5 videos with me writing the names onto the blackboard, sending them out, going on to the next one. And I'm going to keep a clock right next to me so you can see how efficient you can get out 5 meaningful communications to 5 different people in a very short period of time. I'm going to bring you behind the scenes, but Ethan, it's going to be enjoyable to look back at this year and say, okay, I sent 40 to 75 unsolicited CMAs, and we sent those in May and June, and 3 of those are now listing and they're now on the market or they're now sold, and really looking back at this 365 and letting people see it, because I think the big thing people don't get about one-to-one videos, where we started this conversation, is if they could see an example, if they could emulate somebody, if they could be inspired to do it, then they'll do it. But it's such a private communication. A lot of people don't get to see behind the curtain, and I'm hoping that that's what this year will be, not only for me and for Jordan and for Trish and for our business and for our clients, but for all of you to sort of be able to see behind the curtain and come along the journey with us. So that's what we're hoping, Ethan, and it's gonna be fun doing it.
I am really excited about it. For those of you who are watching and you think like, I'm going to go along with this, you've already got a few ideas, birthday being the easiest one, but thank you, or I was thinking about you, or I just noticed that, are good ones. If you're already a BombBomb user, you can just, when you log into your account at bombbomb.com, on that dashboard is your total video count. Write down the day, write down the number, and you can keep track of your own progress as well. It's just sitting there on the dashboard all the time.
And one last thing, I am not an affiliate with BombBomb. If you use them or don't use them, it doesn't affect me at all. And I think almost everything we talked about today, Ethan, is in that sort of first tier BombBomb membership. We're
Absolutely.
not talking about mass send. So everything we talked about, the keyboard, the one-to-one communication, the Gmail plugin, that's the bare bones.
The spirit of that lightweight subscription. That's the whole spirit of it. Yeah, that's what it empowers.
Yeah, it's amazing. Ethan, thank you so much for being my sounding board. Thank you for responding to me. Oh, and thank you for sending me a BombBomb 8 years ago, because it was in an instant, a one-to-one video from Ethan Beute where he said, hey, Michael, it's Ethan. And I was like, I get it. I'm in. That was 8.5 years ago. You have no idea the transformation you've had in my life, in my kids' life, in our team's life, in our client's life. You are amazing, Ethan Beute. Thank you so much, sir. We'll be checking back in with you later on in the project.
Thank you. And likewise, you've absolutely been an inspiration to me and our team. You have introduced me to a number of people. I know a number of people who I see in the comments because of you. And of course, you took it all and ran with it. And the last thing I'll share, that origin story you offered, I have that with a couple other people. And it takes a special kind of person to receive that, feel the personal nature of it, and immediately say to yourself, that's how I want to make other people feel, and so it was in you all along. And I'm glad that you attribute some unlocking of something, but it was already in you anyway. It's a privilege to be on this journey. This is what life's about. I appreciate you. And I am excited for this whole journey.
Awesome, Ethan. Thank you, sir. We will be checking in with you soon. All right, so guys, one great question came in here, and it couldn't be timed anymore, or timed any better. And your names don't show up because of the way that it is, and I can try to find out who said it. Sorry. Anyway, the comment is, my challenge is being consistent with videos of all kinds. Anyone have times on how to get it done and implement all the ideas? Do you schedule daily, weekly help? This is a perfect comment because next month on February 9th, we're going to be talking and dissecting how we have structured 75% of the video content we'll be putting out this year one-to-one into our systems, into our workflows. The unsolicited CMAs, now it's time to send. Our workflows are going to tell us to do that. Now it's time to reach out and say happy birthday. Now it's time to let them know that it's been 5 years since they bought our home. All those sort of things are scheduled in. It's the only way we're going to be able to identify the opportunities and the people we should be sending those videos to. Because like I said, I've been reactive with the video content I've been creating for the last 8 years, and that puts me at a video a day. If I take a little bit of reactive and put a little bit of proactive together, that's what's going to get me to the 1,250 videos. So that's going to be next month. We're going to have a great guest on that too as well. And I want to thank you guys all for coming in and sharing this with me for two reasons. Number one, I want you to hold me accountable to my New Year's resolution of five timesing the videos that I'm going to put out. And number two, I hope 1, 2, 3 of you are inspired to create a little bit more video content in your business, because the one thing I am certain of, there hasn't been a bigger impact in the quality of experience we're able to provide our customers and the growth of our business than one-to-one video. And so I hope you hold me accountable, and I hope it inspires you. And I hope you all had a wonderful New Year, a great holiday season. I hope all of you are as healthy and safe as you can be in these trying times. I miss so many of you and not being able to see your faces, but this is the next best thing about being face-to-face, is to be in video. And I think that might be a slogan of a certain company that we've been mentioning today. So if you've got any questions, put them in the comment section. I've got to run off to an appointment, but I'll try to get them later on. On behalf of Jesse Peters and myself and all of Revs Nation, thanks for joining me, and we'll talk to you soon.